Welcome to VVork. In this video, we're going to learn to use vSphere tags in vRealize operations. Welcome back. One of the things I oftentimes hear vRealize operations users ask me is, they'll come to me and they'll say, hey Brian, that's great that you taught me how to use vRealize operations tags, but how can I use vSphere tags in vRealize operations? So let's learn how to do that. By the way, you may notice that the title here says nothing about custom object groups, but the way you use vSphere tags in vRealize operations involves custom object groups. So how do you do it? What's the trick? Well, the trick to using vSphere tags in vRealize operations involves using custom object groups. You're going to create a custom object group. You're going to use the properties selection that I showed you in the previous video. And additionally, you're going to use a property called vSphere tags. By the way, if you came straight to this video is part of a series of videos on vRealize operations. If you take a look at the info thing in the top right hand corner, you can learn how to get to the playlist for the entire series of videos. But let's learn how to do this useful thing. How do I use vSphere tags in vRealize operations? Well, to demonstrate this here, first of all, let me set up a scenario. So imagine, if you will, you're using vRealize operations and suddenly you're getting a lot of alerts. And you're getting so many alerts, you don't want to have to look at every single alert. You don't have enough time. There's just too many alerts, and you need to start performing some triage. Well, one way that you may be doing that is in your environment, you may have SLAs. For instance, the example I keep giving these videos is perhaps you have 3 SLA levels: gold, silver, and bronze. Obviously, in your environment, you may call your SLA something else. I'm just using those as an example. But here we can see 3 different hosts that are reporting problems. The CPU usage is going through the roof on them. But in my environment, if my number one job is to focus on hosts that have been assigned the SLA level of gold, there's nothing here in this alert list that lets me see which one is which. Well, in an earlier video in this series, I showed you how you could create a vRealize operations tag or vRealize operations custom object group where you manually specify which hosts are assigned which SLA level. But when you watch those videos, you may have been thinking to yourself, okay, Brian, that's great that you're showing me how to do this in vRealize operations, but I've already set up my SLAs in vSphere using vSphere tags. Well, great. Using the technique I'm about to show you, you're not going to have to recreate that work. If you already have tags set up in vSphere, let's use them. So let's see, again, in our environment here, we're getting a bunch of CPU activity on our 5 different hosts, but those hosts belong to 3 different SLAs. Again, our gold, silver, and bronze. So host 1 is going to be gold. Silvers will be host 2 and 3, and hosts 4 and 5 in our example will be bronze. So if you have already set up tags in vSphere for your SLAs, you probably have something that looks like this. You probably went to the tags and custom attributes section, clicked on tags, and then clicked on categories and set up a category, as I've shown here, called SLA. And furthermore, you then clicked on the tags button and set up your 3 different tags called gold, silver, and bronze. So if you've done that, good for you. You've set up the tags in vSphere, and because you don't want to have to recreate the work, we're going to automatically, in VRops, we're going to automatically import these tags from vSphere into VRops. Again, that will eliminate the duplicate work, and it also really helps if you have an environment that's growing over time. If you're adding more and more hosts, you don't want to have to keep going back to both vSphere and VRops to set up tags. So we're just going to focus all our efforts on vSphere in this example. So I have set up that tag category. I've set up those 3 tags, and I've gone to each of our 5 different hosts and assigned the appropriate tag to each of them. And again, in case you forget which is which, Host 1 is gold, host 2 and 3 are silver, host 4 and 5 are bronze. Okay, so now we know what our scenario is that we're working with. Let's go create the custom object group. Again, this is going to be a custom object group that helps us make use of vSphere tags. So again, we go to Environment, Environment Overview, Custom Groups, and we click Add. And we give our custom object group a useful name, such as things. Actually, let's not be generic. Let's say gold hosts, gold SLA hosts. There we go. Got a good name. Go to the first video on custom object groups in this series to find out what these two fields are for. Instead, I'm going to skip those and jump here to make this a dynamic group. I'm going to say that this is a group of hosts, so host system, and here's where we do it. Under properties, there is a property of hosts and VMs and data stores, and every single vSphere object has a property called vSphere tag, which is hiding in the summary section. There's vSphere tag. So now that I've specified vSphere tag, I have my usual 4 comparators. I'm going to choose is. And if I say is gold, you might want to flash back real quickly here to remind yourself which host is gold. Host 1 is gold. If I say gold and click preview, you'll notice that just that one host matches. Now, obviously, we can do the same thing for the other 2 SLA levels. Just for practice, I'll show you one more. I'll do the silver SLA, and I'll leave it to you to do the gold SLA. I'm actually going to hit cancel here so I can create from scratch again a new custom object group. This time we'll call it the silver SLA VMs custom object group, dynamic, host, systems. Again, this is a property. Specifically, it's the property called summary vSphere tag. If it is silver, let's scroll down and see our preview. Again, in case you've forgotten, silver is host 2 and 3. And I have to confess here, I don't remember if I actually set that up, so the following may fail, but let's take a look. We click on preview, and notice it's matching host 2 and 3, exactly as we want. So there you have it. You now have a custom object group that is based off of the tags that you set up over in vSphere. In the next video, we'll learn how to use custom object groups in vRealize operations dashboards.